Gaffy, you're a Victorian. You'd be used to pretty wild crowds in Victoria when you were growing up. Do you think it's any different over here?
I think it's a little bit louder over here, just quietly. I mean, we've got great fans over here, and they're just very supportive and very loyal and very passionate. So we can't ask for more than that. And it's definitely great playing at home with those fans because they definitely support you.
But as a future leader of this club, if someone is out of line and he was found out of line, you'd want him to back off from you. I mean, that's...
If they're out of line, yeah, that'll definitely make sense. You don't want bad things to be said in the crowd. So I think if anything bad was said, then obviously try to refrain from that for next time.
Is it just louder, do you think, because there's 40,000 Eagle fans as opposed to, say, Melbourne, it's split 50-50 or 70-30?
I think so. I think the fact that we've got two clubs over here in WA, I'm sure Freo are pretty similar when they've got all their fans here. But also I think the fact that maybe Subi holds 45,000 and G holds 100,000, it probably feels more packed than at the MCG when you got sort of half the ground sort of not packed, which maybe makes a bit of a difference. Yeah.
Also seen in recent, throughout past years, I suppose, former players for opposition clubs getting booed just for being good, which has upset some people. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, each sort of group of fans deal with it pretty separately. I mean, it's not something I can really sort of vouch for. It's not really for me to comment on, but I mean, obviously those guys probably prefer not to be booed, but I mean, it's all up to the crowd to decide what they want to do.
Andrew, you played in South Australia a couple of weeks ago. Do you think it's pretty, obviously you wouldn't have had the support, but do you think it's pretty comparable to the crowds you get here?
Oh, I think so, yeah. I mean, Adelaide up and going, the stand's full, the crowd's full, but they're also very, very supportive and very passionate about their team. So no bad words were said then to any of us in Adelaide. And I mean, you expect that to be the same no matter where you play, whether it's in Melbourne, Brisbane or anywhere else.
Andrew, a lot of people have spoken about your tank and the ability to run. Is that just a natural gift or have you worked on it?
Oh, I think it's a bit of both. Yeah, I think it's always been sort of a real strength of mine. Even sort of days where I was doing cross country sort of for the school, which has always helped me. I think it's sort of one of my better assets. But obviously you got to work a bit on it, and that's what all the pre-seasons. That's why guys do pre-seasons to get better at that, and to make it an important part of every one of our games, every one of our make-ups. So I think it's a real strength of mine, but it's a big strength for most of the guys. I think these days, I think everyone's got a pretty good tank. There wouldn't be too many guys that don't. So I think everyone's kind of bridging the gap a bit. Yeah.
How many Ks would you have run the other night, or what do you have?
We have a little sort of sheet up on the board after each sort of game to see how far I run. Probably normally about 16 and a half.
And would that be the most in the team?
Oh, I'd be top few. Yeah, we'd be top three. Yeah. So we got Maston's up there. Also Matty Rosa, when he's been playing, sort of us two on wings. Obviously cover a fair bit of ground, so I think it'd be more sort of us three. Matt Prudis covers a lot of ground. So yeah, it's probably 16 and a half, 17 sort of max sometimes. So I think probably us three. Yeah.
So do you set a standard for yourself? Like, is it a case of if you're covering a certain amount of Ks, you know you're going to get a certain amount of ball and do a certain amount of things that you're required to do?
Oh yeah, I think if you walk off the ground at the end of the day and you know you've worked pretty hard and run pretty hard, and you don't have any regret or guilt when you sort of go to sleep that night. So I think we work pretty hard, and we do our best to try and leave everything out in the field, and what happens. You get days where you might have 20, 25 kicks, other days you might get 5. So I mean, I think it all evens itself out in the long run.
Were you cognisant that the deliberate out-of-bounds rule might have been tweaked a bit on the weekend?
Oh, it does seem to think so, yeah. I mean, it obviously felt like there was quite a few sort of going on. But, I mean, it's hard for me to comment on. I got a free kick for it, so I can't complain too much. I'm happy for that. But I know a few boys on the receiving end, so... Oh, it's hard for me to comment on. Yeah,
9 in one game, it's almost unheard of.
I think the average is 0.6 a game or something. So it's obviously built up the average a little bit.
Do you
Yeah.
expect to get that free kick?
Frustrations in teammates or opponents with the rule out there on the ground?
Oh, I mean, I wasn't too close to many of them really. The ones that we were up got given against us. So I mean, I can't really tell, but there did seem to be quite a few of them. Yeah.
You were obviously close enough to get to one of them.
Yeah.
When that ball was heading out of bounds, were you expecting to get a free kick?
I think I did go and grab the ball. Yeah, before it was before it was given. Yeah. I mean, that was just. Yeah, there did seem to be a few on the weekend, but.
Were you chasing after believing because you thought it would have been paid any other week, or just because?
Oh no! Sometimes just when the ball's kicked towards the boundary, you hope to sway the umpire's mind sometimes and get a kick. But yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one to do that.
Andrew, have you assessed your own form this season?
Yeah, I think I've been pretty happy with how I've gone consistently. Trying to bridge the gap from last year, I played a few pretty good games and a few pretty average games. So I've been pretty happy with that so far, and hopefully can finish it off for the rest of the season. But I've also improved some deficiencies in my game and continue to thrive to do that as well.
Are you feeling more confident about being out there?
Yeah, I think I've sort of got more of been able to take the game on a little bit more, run and carry, which is a big sort of strong, big part of my game as well as my running. So I think I've been a bit more willing to do that this year than perhaps last year I was in my first year.
And how are you feeling physically as well? West Coast really eased you into it last year playing as a sub, that sort of
Yeah.
almost getting to finals now. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel great. Yeah, I feel probably as good as I have sort of all year, which is good. You obviously got, I'm sure, guys that have a few niggles and stuff, but I mean, I feel great and ready to go.
You kicked 2 goals on the weekend, Andrew. Do you want to become a goal-kicking midfielder as you go forward?
Yeah, it'd be nice. Yeah, I haven't kicked too many this year, so it's good to kick a couple definitely. So I guess as a midfielder, coaches and players themselves strive for their midfielders to kick goals, which is an important part, obviously part of the game. So I think Matt Pruder's kicked a couple as well. Obviously Nick Natanui and Coxie kicked 3. So it's obviously good if the midfielders kicking goals, and I'm sure the forwards are kicking goals as well.
Do you feel better placed as a group heading into finals this time around in terms of experience, given it was such a young group last year?
Oh, definitely. I think it was a good learning curve for us last year, playing finals at the G and obviously against Carlton sort of here. I think we know what to expect from a finals game and leading up to the finals. I think we can only do positive things going into this year's final campaign.
How do you see it placed, given that it's so close? Do you think you could go on to win it from outside the top 4? Or?
Oh, we think it's. I think other coaches have said as well that this is a year when anyone could win it. Really, you got Geelong that are sixth link and they won the flag last year, so they can beat anyone. We feel the same as well. So we're very confident going into the finals series wherever we finish.
Gaff, what can you say about Cox? Being Cox, he looked like he was struggling to jump, and he got hurt in the first quarter,
Yep.
and then he went on to just pull out one of the great performances. He's an outstanding player, isn't he?
Oh, he's brilliant. Yeah, even the game in Tassie against North, he was just unbelievable. I think that mark he took on Scarlett in the goal square with one hand was unbelievable. And it's great knowing that you can kick it long to Dino in the square as a sort of a get-out option, and he's just been fantastic. Not only this year, but last year as well. Obviously, he was in the All-Australian team. And he's a great asset for us, but he's also great for Nick, teaching Nick a few things. And we know Nick is on the right track to become one of the elite like Dean is.